The Rollright Stone Circle, based in Long Compton, is one of my favourite places to visit. On days when I'm feeling like I need a little bit of an energy recharge, this is the first place that I go. The history of this place is absolutely incredible. The energy of the stone circle is not really something you can explain. It's something that you have to experience for yourself. At present, there are 70 odd stones. They're heavily weathered oolitic limestone, which holds energy. They're set in a rather irregular ring, about 31 meters across. They were poetically described by William Stuckley as being corroded like worm-eaten wood by the harsh jaws of time. They're said to make a very noble, rustic sight, and strike an odd terror upon spectators and admiration for the design of them. The number of stones has changed over the years. Legends refer to the stones as having been taken away to make bridges and the like. It's likely that this created most of the now visible gaps. The stones are famously uncountable. Apparently, you can walk around the circle 3 times counting the stones and never get the same number. Originally, they would have numbered about 105 stones standing shoulder to shoulder. The boulders used to construct the Rollright stones were probably collected within about 500 meters of the site. The oldest is the Whispering Knight's dolmen. It's early Neolithic, about 3,800 to 3,500 BC. The stones are made of natural boulders of Jurassic oolitic limestone, which forms bulk of the Cotswold Hills. The stone has been used extensively in the region for building everything from churches to houses to stone walls. The Rollright Stone Circle is also situated on top of ley lines, energetic lines that create a magnetic field. The Kingsman Stone Circle is late Neolithic, circa 2500 BC, and the Kingstone is early to Middle Bronze Age, about 1500 BC. The complex of megalithic monuments lies on the border between Oxfordshire and Warwickshire, just on the edge of the Cotswold Hills. They span nearly 2,000 years of Bronze Age and Neolithic development. Each site here at the Rollrights dates back to a different age. The Rollright parish in which the stones are located is first mentioned in the Domesday Book. That's 1086 AD, when it was first valued at £5, and it was held by the Columbian monk under the tenancy-in-chief of the Bishop Lincoln. At that time, there were 12 villages, 3 small holds, and 2 slaves. And there was even land for 6 ploughs and about 20 acres of meadow. According to the story, many centuries ago, when England was ruled by several tribes, the king was attempting to become the king of everything, the King of England. And while the king and his army and his knights were marching through the mystical Cotswold Hills, they stumbled upon a witch. And the witch promised him that if he took 7 long strides and he could see Long Compton, that she would make him the King of England. The witch told the king, 7 long strides thou shalt take, and if Long Compton thou can see, King of England thou shalt be. And this king, convinced that climbing up the hill would be an easy task, he endeavoured and replied, stick, stock, stone, as King of England I shall be known. However, the witch caused the land to rise up in front of the king so that he could not take his 7 long strides to see Long Compton. and then she invoked her curse. She said, "As Long Compton thou cannot see, King of England thou shalt not be. Rise up stick and rise up stone, and King of England thou shalt be none. For thou and thy men hoar stones shall be, and I myself an elder tree." Now the legend has it that she turned all the king's men into the stones that you can see behind me. And off to the side were 3 knights that were whispering and plotting against the king. She turned them to stone. And the king himself stands over the road just behind us, a stone that's overlooking the village of Long Compton. Legend has it that somewhere around here is an elder tree, and that is said to be the witch. And if you can find this elder tree and cut it down, you'll release the men from their stony curse, and they'll become knights and the kingsmen once more. It was well known even in the Tudor times that the Rollright stones is a gathering place for witches. And more than likely, even before the Tudor times. Perhaps these stones have some kind of a power, an energy, along with their ancient pagan origins that draws people to them. One story tells of the murder of Anne Tennant. Witchcraft is most commonly associated with the 17th century, the era of James II and his obsession with witches, as well as Matthew Hopkins, the witchfinder general. Yet in rural areas, even in the late 19th century, the association with elderly women and witchcraft persisted and could, and did, result in murder. One day in September 1875, Anne Tennant was on her way back from the bakery with a loaf of bread for her husband's dinner, when she was approached by a young gentleman who violently murdered her. He stabbed her through the neck and through the leg with a pitchfork. When asked why he did it, he claimed that she was a witch. James Hayward, the accused, did this in front of several witnesses. P.C. Simpson arrived and told James that he had to lock him up, as he looked like he had just killed Mrs. Tennant. To which he replied, "There are no odds about it. She will die, and I hope she does. There are 15 more witches in the village, and I will serve them the same. I will kill them all." He was then taken to the Red Lion pub, which doubled as a courthouse, just down the road in the village of Long Compton. There, he was tried for murder. He was then escorted to Warwick Jail, where he starved himself to death over a 3-month period. The far end of Long Compton is still known as Witch End. There are many stories of witches and those practicing witchcraft at the Stone Circle to this day. There is a tradition that the stones promoted fertility, and the King's Stone was supposed to be particularly potent in this. So at midnight, young women would touch their breasts against the King's Stone and hope that maybe one day, very soon, they would fall pregnant. In 1743, William Stukeley told a story about a special day that young women and young men were supposed to come to the Stone Circle and make merry and drink ale and have oatcakes. Now, women and young girls are said to put their ears against the Whispering Night stones to hear them whisper the name of their future husband. Today, the Rollright stones are a place for pagans and tourists and visitors to come and walk around the peaceful ground. It is a beautiful energy in this place, and it also is a space where the witches, the coven, called the Watchers of the Old Ways, often come and visit, especially on a Sabbath or the nearest Saturday to the Sabbath. They will come with their cakes and their mead and gather everybody that's here to do whatever ritual it is. One of the very many traditions is the ribbon tree. People from around the world will come and visit the Stone Circle and bring a ribbon with them to tie on the tree. Different colors have different meanings. Blue for communication, green for health, yellow for success and friendship, pink for love, red for passion. So when visiting the stones, be sure to bring a ribbon with you to tie onto the tree. Another legend says that if you'd like to see the fairies of the Stone Circle, you need to look through one of the holes in one of the stones. These are commonly known as hagstones. By looking through the hole in the stone, it is said that you will be able to see the fairy realm on the other side, a glimpse into their world. There are many eyewitness accounts of people saying that they've seen round balls of light that are iridescent, kind of like a bubble, and that these are often seen not only in the evenings, but during the day as well. Could these be the stone circle's fairies? Perhaps a distant memory of when fairies were pagan gods or spirits appears with the tradition of leaving them a small present or an offering. There's not a visit to the Rollrights that I do not leave some sort of an offering for the fairies in one of the very many nooks and crannies of the night stones. Today, I've decided to leave them a crystal. One of the other many traditions is leaving a coin at the Whispering Knight's dolmen. It's said to be for good luck. The mystery of why this stone complex was built and its significance to the builders will probably never be known. And today we can only guess their motivation. Whether it was the site itself that is sacred, or whether it's the stones themselves that are sacred. Perhaps it's the two of them together. Maybe it's the energy and the intention of the original builders that merged together, using those two together with their own manpower, their own ingenuity, their own energy. Maybe that is significant and what creates the mystery and the magic. Or maybe it's the minds of those who visit the stones today. There is not much better than visiting the stone circle on a beautiful sunny day to realign your own energy. Taking your shoes off and walking around the circle, just on this ground, makes you feel so much better. And that's largely due to the ley lines and electrons that help charge your system. The stones are a very sacred place for so many people. And if you happen to see any white powdery substance around the stones, be sure not to touch it, because it's probably somebody's family member. Many people scatter the ashes of their loved ones around the sacred site. No trip to the Rollrights is complete without cleansing and charging your crystals. This is the most incredible place to charge not only your energy, but any of the tools that you work with. So for me, I always take any crystal jewelry, any crystals that I work with on a daily basis, as well as some herbs such as sage and bay leaves, and I use these to not only cleanse my own energy, but make sure that I'm cleansing everything that I work with. Once I'm finished cleansing my crystals and tools, I'll add all the additional herbs into the cauldron and get quite a bit of smoke coming out of it. I'll then put that on one of the rocks, depending on which way the wind is blowing, and I'll stand in the middle of all the smoke, letting it wash over me, just to cleanse any additional negative energy. Today I've chosen to use sage and bay leaves. Bay leaves to relieve anxiety, sage to cleanse my energy as well as my tools. No matter how you are feeling or what is going on in your life, a trip to the Rollright Stones removes any stress from daily life and really helps you relax. It is the most balancing place you can possibly visit. After taking a walk around the grounds, we returned back to the stone circle to find that there was a hand fasting taking place. Hand fasting is an ancient marriage ritual that's becoming increasingly popular with modern couples. The ceremony involves a couple's hands being placed together and bound with ribbon or cord. This symbolizes their journey through marriage, and the ritual is often performed by a celebrant, such as a druid priestess. Hand fasting is so old that its origins can't be certain. It's been a tradition for many thousands of years and has been traced back to Celtic and Druid ceremonies. It may even be where the phrases tying the knot and bound for life originate. Traditionally, young couples will perform a hand fasting ritual in a sacred space as a promise that they would be married in a legal court of law within a year and a day. I was lucky enough to catch up with the couple after their ceremony and find out a little bit about the ceremony itself and why they had chosen the Rollright stones.
We came here to get hand fasted.
Yeah.
We are in the pagan faith, and a day from now, we'll be getting actually married.
Well, a hand fasting, it consists of, first of all, creating a sacred space, bringing awareness of the spirits of the earth, the spirits of the place, the spirits of where we are now in the present, to witness and to bless the union of two people, because the joining of two people is a sacred thing in and of itself. It's fundamental and primal, and it deserves respect and honour. And so hand fasting is a traditional way of stating these people's intention to be there for each other and to behave in ways that enhance the lives of all, actually. Yeah. So for me, it's a really important thing, you know, it's a really deep thing for me.
It's the closest stone circle to where we live, for starters.
Yeah.
So it has spiritual meaning also. It's very, very old and ancient. I came here on my own before I even met Sally, and I pretty much asked for guidance and to find what I wanted. I had trouble opening my heart to people, emotionally connecting to people, and then there she is, popped up out the mist.
Yeah. Then we got engaged here under a full moon at night. Most magical, amazing engagement ever. And then we thought we'd come back here to do the year and a day ceremony.
It's started as a beautiful location. As far as you can see, it's just pure nature and beauty. But there is a special feeling about being here within the circle. It's not so physical. You won't step in and feel a lightning bolt or a buzz, but you're just inside. You just feel it like when you're on a roller coaster and you're at the very top, you're coming down, you get that feeling inside. That's how it feels to me.
It's a very elemental place. I mean, today's relatively calm, but we feel like this place has a lot of natural forces that seem to all meet here. We've been here multiple times where you've got sunshine one minute, pouring down and rain the next, and then strong winds.
The next.
It feels
and
like
it's like
powerful, very powerful.
within a short amount of time, all the elements were coming down,
yeah.
and we experienced it all in one day, and it was just an amazing place to be.
It's a force of nature in itself, I think.
Yeah. I'd say when you come here, it is beautiful, but be respectful of it. It's very old. Don't deface it. Don't litter here. It's a sacred place. If you walked into a church, you would be quiet and respectful of other people praying, and it's the same for us here.
Bring some ribbons with you for the tree.
Always bring ribbons.
I'd add to that. I mean, human beings have been human beings forever, and whatever made the people create the circle here, what they felt, you can feel. It's a place where, for me, it's ancestors. I think that's the greatest connection I feel with this place. And so I'd say to anybody coming here, you know, just think of all your ancestors and imagine all the people who've been here, and perhaps, you know, pour a bit of tea for them, or just say a prayer or something. That's what I'd just add. I think, to act in a sacred way, but not to feel embarrassed by it. Just allow yourself to feel it.
It's a spiritual place, and be here and just connect with your own spirit and your faith, whatever it may be.
Well guys, that is my day coming to an end. I really hope that you enjoy everything that you've learned about the Rollright stones, and definitely pay it a visit. This place is pretty magical.
Dark some night and shining moon, balance of the dark and light. Hearken ye, O witches' rune, as we perform our sacred rite. By earth and water, air and fire, by blade and bowl and circle round, we come to you with our desire. Let all that is hidden now be found. With censer, candle, book and sword, and ringing of the altar bell, we tie a knot within our cord to bind our magic in a spell. Mother of the summer fields, goddess of the silver moon, join with us as power builds, dance with us our witches' rune. Father of the summer dew, hunter of the winter snows, with open arms we welcome you. Dance with us as power grows. Dance with us our witches' rune. Dance with us our witches' rune. Dance with us our witches' rune. Mother of the summer fields, goddess of the silver moon, join with us as power builds. Dance with us our witches' rune. Father of the summer dew, hunter of the winter snows, with open arms we welcome you. Dance with us as power grows. Dance with us, dance with us, dance with us, dance with us, witches, dance with us, dance with us, witches. By all the light of moon and sun, by all the might of land and sea, chant the rune and it is done, as we will so motive.